Now we think about momentum right here at the University of Buffalo. The momentum surrounding this institution is powerful.
The most important thing that Blackstone really did for me was really just tell me that yes, you can.
AIs can inadvertently, unconsciously reproduce racial biases. How does that work? And how do we clean them up? Is there a way that humanists, artists can help clean up those biases?
And that opportunity for UB to lead on the ethics of AI, that is a sacred responsibility, I believe, for higher education in general, for UB in particular.
Louise Blanche Bethune was the first professional woman architect in the United States. Part of my story is trying to understand why Louise, why Buffalo, all of the factors that led to, her having the strength to pursue her dream of becoming the first professional woman architect.
This is and will be an incredible place, not only for the students, not only the patients in Western New York, but for dental schools in United States.
When you have a university sanctioned and supported institute, that gives this kind of work sustainability in our efforts to eliminate health inequities in our community.
When I think of being a global citizen, it's thinking globally but acting locally. There's no point in having knowledge, having a degree, if you're not going to try and help as many people as you can, especially those around you with it.
There is definitely an underrepresented number of African American physicians and women physicians. And so I do hope in my career that I can be a good mentor to other people who look like me that are interested in pursuing medicine, and to encourage them that there are no barriers to your dreams.
Recently, we've been able to achieve one of our climate action plan goals by being able to quantify the impact our food system has on greenhouse gas.
We stand in the front, but we're behind. A lot of things in regards to sustainability and climate change, we're so far behind, and a lot of other countries are looking for the U.S. and need the U.S. to actually intervene.
To help students have the opportunity, not only to think about it, but to do it. Because once they go and they come back, their careers change, their lifestyles change, and they have become the impact that we all want them to be in their communities.
Anytime you put together a performance center, that's really the foundation to success.
The construction of a building is much like the development of a superior athlete. It takes planning, time, commitment, execution, and true grit.
And now, please welcome to stage UB's 15th president, Satish K. Tripathi.
Good morning and greetings. I'm delighted to welcome you to my 12th annual State of the University address. I would like to begin by thanking the Center for the Arts Production Group for capturing UB's spirit in that terrific video. I would like to extend my appreciation as well to Chair Hubner and one of our newest faculty members, Professor Dunn Danger, for that beautiful performance. In turn, I would like to acknowledge all the faculty, students, and the staff joining me for our annual university tradition. We have many UB stakeholders with us today, including members of the UB Alumni Association, the UB Council, the UB Foundation, and the SUNY Board of Trustees, along with our civic and community leaders, healthcare partners, and elected officials. We are grateful for our many partners. Thank you all for being here and for your commitment to UB's mission of excellence. Because of you, our immediate scholarly community and our broader circle of friends and partners, I can declare unequivocally that not only is our flagship strong, but it is becoming more vibrant every day. And today, in a scholarly fashion, I intend to defend my thesis with compelling evidence. Although, as something of disclaimer, it will require a bit more time than the participants in the 3-minute thesis competition. Of course, if you've attended my State of the University address in years past, you already know that. Just as you know that I often use this occasion to set goals for our UB community. Whether related to our academic endeavors, economic development, or community engagement, I've always considered these challenges university-wide calls to action. Assignments on a grand scale, you might say. Today, as I stand before you and contemplate every facet of our enterprise, it is abundantly clear that you have taken these challenges to heart. As a result, we are achieving exactly what we set out to do. Because of its primacy in our mission and our aspirations, allow me to begin by talking about research. A short years ago, we are making a historic first for UB's research portfolio, namely our sponsored research expenditure exceeding $200 million. Even as we celebrated this landmark achievement, I knew we were capable of making a greater impact. That is why, at my 2022 address, I asked us to put these expenditures on even steeper upward trajectory. In True Blue style, our faculty and staff not only accepted the challenge, you responded with research benefiting people across lifespan, from infants to new mothers to elderly. You reduce disparities by improving access to indigenous research, teaching, and learning, promoting equitable grading practices, caring for patients in medically underserved areas, and improving air quality monitoring in our city. Moreover, when it came to the environmental crisis, your expansive research had implications for the water we drink, the health of our land, and the air we breathe. Truly, your purposeful response surpassed all expectations. So much so, I'm delighted to announce that UB's sponsored research expenditure increased 16% over the previous year to $232 million. As you know, enhancing scholarly productivity and growing our research portfolio are essential to achieving UB's top 25 ambition. I always emphasize that our ambition is not motivated by pride, but impact. Without a doubt, our rising research expenditures validate the deepening impact of our disciplinary expertise. In recognition, our faculty are being elevated to prestigious scholarly bodies and receiving esteemed honors for their contributions to medicine, art, linguistics, public health, anthropology, urban planning and education, social work, chemistry, pharmacy, dental medicine and law, psychology, nursing, material science and statistics, among many other disciplines. To amplify our faculty's strength, I have long contended that we must increase their ranks. Today, I'm here to tell you we are doing just that. In January, we unveiled our plan to hire upward of 200 full-time faculty in the areas of university strength and global importance. This semester, we welcomed UB's largest cohort of new faculty in over 40 years. We are realizing this ambitious goal in large part with the state's conviction in our mission of excellence. I would like to thank Governor Hochul and the Western New York delegation for their strategic investment in UB. Like the rest of the society, they recognize the significant ways our faculty bring their expertise to bear on the state and world.
You're listening to the BBC World Service.
This is CNN.
I'm Marco Werman. You're with The World.
ABC News starts right now.
Ini Jung, a SUNY Buffalo professor studying social media.
Tolu Odunsi is a lecturer in law at the University at Buffalo.
We are joined by Jacob Nyheisel, an associate professor for political science at the University at Buffalo.
At the end of the day, though, I didn't see anything that's fundamentally going to change the nature of this race.
These multiples of 250 to 350 times what the median employee makes seems unusual, but it's right in line with what's happened the past 3 or 4 years.
And also with us is Samantha Barbas, a University of Buffalo law professor.
So it really seems that what is going on is there is a kind of politically motivated attack on Sullivan.
Now to talk more about the dangerous spread of misinformation online is Heidi Julian, professor with the Department of Information Science at the University at Buffalo.
Nicholas Rakovich studies climate adaptation and resilience in cities and buildings.
Why and how did we evolve to have mucus at all? I spoke to Omer Gokumen and Stefan Ruhl at the University of Buffalo.
SUNY Distinguished Professor Dr. Thomas Rousseau says that even if a COVID test says it's expired, you could still use it.
This was the site that got me into community archaeology. This is a wall of the former Cataract House Hotel.
It's time now for Ask an Expert.
Stefan Santa Ramirez, professor in the Educational Leadership and Policy Department at the University at Buffalo.
Natalie Simpson, an expert in emergency response operations at the University of Buffalo.
How common is it for something to hit the moon unintentionally?
It's very uncommon. This is the first time that we know of.
School lockdown drills can help save lives.
Yeah, so when done right, we would argue that the benefits outweigh the risks.
As you just saw, when confronted with consequential issues, the world turns to UB. But what happens when these issues land at UB's doorsteps? Over the past year, we have been tested on matters as old as First Amendment and as futuristic as AI. To the principles of free speech, let me underscore how critical it is to uphold this constitutional right, not only in the abstract, nor when it is convenient to do so, but also when the speech in question offends our sensibilities. Heckling, shouting down our opponents, suppression, censorship, these have no place in higher education. But opposing ideas we reject with robust arguments grounded in truth, reason, and justice. This is what higher education prepares us to do. Remember, speakers will come and go. But we will always exercise our right to meet weak claims with strong ones, to counter hatred with compassion, and to champion equality and inclusivity. On that theme, last spring saw Supreme Court ruling on race-conscious admission. What I stressed then bears repeating today. UB thrives because of our diverse perspectives, backgrounds, cultures, and lived experiences. It enriches our research, our scholarly pursuit, our academic discourse, indeed, all that we endeavor to accomplish. As we consider the scope of the Supreme Court decision, rest assured we are responding thoughtfully and strategically to continue cultivating an equitable and welcoming academic community. This work complements an array of recent initiatives that uphold our values, like enhanced opportunities for students from diverse backgrounds to connect and bond, career fairs, professional training programs for students, and faculty recruitment initiatives like our Vital Scholars Program. Through my President's Advisory Council on Race, we are funding pilot projects for civic-minded research. Moreover, we have expanded mentoring programs to reach diverse and first-generation student populations, including graduate students. This is how, in light of the Students for Fair Admission decision, we are integrating inclusivity into every corner of our university. I would argue that the final challenge I would like to discuss today presents as many opportunities as it does concerns. On one hand, artificial intelligence in the wrong hands gives rise to manipulation, deception, and worse, both in higher education and society at large. In equal measure, this rapidly evolving technology can endanger tremendous good. To ensure that generative AI advances excellence in teaching and learning, a UB task force is drafting recommendations to promote its responsible, effective use in the classroom. Concurrently, a UB seed grant program incentivizes innovation in AI across undergraduate, graduate, and professional education. In research, UB has been leveraging AI for public good for decades, and in process, gaining renown as a pioneer of machine learning. Today, UB stands at the center of AI research and responsible application, with more than 200 UB faculty involved across disciplines. Our reputation as an AI powerhouse is cemented by our National AI Institute for Excellence Education. This NSF Center of Excellence was created with a $20 million grant, the largest award of its kind. Moreover, it is one of the just 25 institutes awarded in the past 4 years. Its work exemplifies how we are collaborating across disciplines to create solutions to significant problems, just as we set out to do. Even as we tackle today's challenges, we remain keenly focused on those who will solve tomorrow's, whether that means offering opportunities for impactful research, entrepreneurship, or creative expression. We are providing our students a transformative education. For their part, our students are responding with a remarkable resolve to make their mark in their field and the world. On both fronts, they are succeeding, receiving national and international acclaim as they explore ways to reduce the burden of heart disease, make computers more energy efficient, and improve ER workflow with strategies from the game of chess. Furthermore, as they work to reduce health disparities, help people disproportionately affected by climate change, and achieve narrative justice for Black communities, they are forging a more tolerant, compassionate society. At UB, we are fortunate to have so many students who are harnessing their education for the greater good. Given the number of higher education institutions experiencing declining enrollment, we are equally fortunate to be meeting our enrollment goals. Today, I am pleased to note our enrollment stands at nearly 31,000 students from more than 100 countries and almost every state in the nation. While the vast majority of our students are leveraging their UB education to achieve their life goals, the data indicates that we can do much more to foster student success. In 2021, I challenged us to work together to improve graduation and retention rates. While we have made modest recent gains in retention, and while our graduation rates remain well above the national average, we have room for ample improvement. And we will improve because our university community has joined hands in this cause. Notably, our professional staff have responded with programs that empower students to thrive. Launched just last year, peer-assisted learning is already improving median grades in some of UB's most rigorous courses. Likewise, our Student Success Coaching Program helps first-year undergraduates sharpen their classroom skills. During the spring semester, staff coached some 1,500 students in 6 different academic units. The result? Students who met regularly with their coaches had higher GPAs and higher average credit completion rates. Although we rightly link student success to faculty mentoring, our staff also play a vital role in this regard. UB staff, particularly in capital planning and facilities, appreciate that our students flourish in an environment conducive to discovery and innovation. In realizing our master plan, they have helped transform our living learning environment. Most recently, their work has led to a welcoming exterior plaza at Capon Hall, enhancement to the library study area, classroom upgrades, the move and expansion of our student entrepreneurial hub, renovation of Crosby Hall, and return of residential living to our South Campus. In addition to the ongoing renovation of Goodyear and Clements Halls, projects in the works include the expansion and redesign of Fargo Quad in the Elliott Complex and rehabilitation of the Foster Hall, the future home of the Graduate School of Education. In keeping with our master plan, we are moving ahead with another major university project, a new academic building for the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences. Over the past 10 years, student enrollment in our engineering program has risen dramatically. In tandem, the demand for STEM professionals has increased tremendously across the state and nation. Given this growth, along with our engineering school's groundbreaking research and robust entrepreneurial activities, a new engineering building has been among our university's foremost priorities. You may recall that in 2022, Governor Hochul approved funding for the building through a capital matching program. Today, it is my great pleasure to announce a monumental advance regarding this project. Thanks to incredibly dedicated alumnus, we have received a transformational gift to move this building from design to concrete reality. Since he graduated, this alumnus has shown his gratitude for his UB education in many meaningful ways, including sharing indispensable guidance as a member of the Engineering School's Dean's Advisory Council, among other long-standing roles. We are extremely appreciative for his loyalty to UB, and now he's showing his commitment with both a $20 million gift to support the School of Engineering and Applied Sciences Education and Research mission, and a $20 million gift for the new engineering building itself. It is an honor to have this alumnus with us to acknowledge him in person. Rush, would you please stand? Russ Agrusa, on behalf of our entire university community, thank you for your philanthropic commitment to UB. Related to this wonderful news, I have one more exciting announcement to make. In deep appreciation for Russ and his steadfast dedication to UB, we are naming our new engineering building the Russell L. Agrusa Hall. Since we embarked on our fundraising campaign 5 years ago, it has powered our boldest ambitions in enabling us to build and modernize the places where our students learn, discover, and create. The Boldly Buffalo campaign has recast our academic landscape. In creating new scholarship and fellowship, it is making our world-class education even more accessible. And by investing in our faculty, it inspires the next generation of change makers to follow their lead. Over the past 5 years, your gifts have gone to work on behalf of UB and the communities we serve. Truly, the difference you have made is remarkable. When I announced the Boldly Buffalo campaign in 2018, I maintained that we must encourage more private philanthropy if we are to meet our ambitious goals. Here again, we have done just what we set out to do. In fact, in our 2023 fiscal year, UB achieved an all-time high fundraising. And now I'm proud to share even more exciting news. Thanks to the numerous gifts received throughout the campaign, we have not only met, but exceeded our $1 billion goal a year ahead of schedule. Thank you all for supporting our Boldly Buffalo campaign. I would like to especially acknowledge our donors and campaign volunteers and our advancement leadership and staff for your commitment to our boldest goals. I'm sure our advancement team would want me to stress that our Boldly Buffalo campaign is not over. Far from it. Indeed, our campaign will run through next spring solidly in step with our mission of excellence. That's because we continue to generate incredible energy and momentum with our historic campaign. Everywhere you look, you can see how philanthropic giving to UB is catalyzing students' success, accelerating faculty research, and impacting the world. It makes our donors proud to see the way things really improve. As with all our endeavors, our campaign, our research, the achievements our students and faculty have made, we have determined to elevate and advance our institutional mission. By many indications, our intentional planning and implementations are paying off. In terms of intentional education, UB maintains our long-time position among the top institutions in the nation. And we are enhancing our stature as a globalized university with resonant programs geared to the members of our scholarly community, whether domestic students seeking to study abroad during their first year, international students curious to learn more about US higher education, or scholars from around the world whose academic freedom and sometimes lives are under threat. Where international partnerships are concerned, the White House has recognized UB's collaboration with Indian universities to advance emerging technologies. The statement signed by President Biden and Prime Minister Modi also highlights the work of AAU Task Force on expanding US-India University partnership, which I'm honored to co-chair. In addition to our international reputation, UB figures prominently across the multiple metrics. In recent New York Times ranking, enforces the world-class education that UB provides students from all walks of life. For the 5th time in 6 years, UB Athletics received the Mid-American Conference Award for fostering a culture of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we were both nationally ranked and nationally honored for our excellence in entrepreneurship. These affirmations are empowering us to further expand our profile in innovation education. At UB, we are committed to offering startup founders comprehensive support across the spectrum of entrepreneurship, from their aha moment to marketplace. As an example, our School of Law's Entrepreneur Law Clinic has provided free legal service to more than 150 startups since its founding in 2017. And since we introduced UB's Cultivator last year, 73 startups have benefited from its early stage investment and coaching. To speak more broadly of UB's evolution into a bastion of entrepreneurship, over the past 2 years, our entrepreneurial programs have created nearly 2,000 new jobs and facilitated nearly 1,300 projects between industry and academia. And in the last decade or so, we have supported nearly 340 startups. And so, as a university community, we are progressively generating more and more robust economic development across our city, region, and state. As we do, we keep our vision trained not on the bottom line, but the greater good. When it comes to sustainability, we are held up as a global leader for our campus practices. Earlier in my address, I told you how our research works to mitigate the pace and severity of climate change. Complementing these scholarly contributions, we have introduced 2 new academic degrees to educate our next generation of climate scientists. It is inspiring to see our students across disciplines engaging with communities from the west side of Buffalo to Kashmir, India, towards a more equitable, sustainable world. And now to our academic rankings. In the most recent rankings, our School of Public Health and Health Profession is ranked 32 among public institutions. Our engineering school is ranked 30th. Our School of Nursing is ranked 23rd. Our School of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences is ranked 14th. Our School of Social Work is ranked 10th. And our School of Dental Medicine is ranked 9th. These rankings represent in no small measure the powerful contributions of our faculty and the strategic leadership of our chairs, deans, and administrative leaders. I am most appreciative for all you do on behalf of UB. Our rankings, our reputation, our research expenditure, our living learning environment, the accomplishments of our student and faculty, the Boldly Buffalo campaign, the impact we are making in society locally and globally, my thesis has covered a lot of ground. And if I have been successful in its defense, we have much to celebrate. As we are experiencing this tremendous period in UB's evolution as a premier public research university, I would argue one more point, namely that we still have much to do and even more to look forward to. So at the risk of cutting the festivities short, I suggest that we keep our congratulations to a minimum. But then, isn't that the UB way? We pause to applaud our accomplishments, and then we get right back to work. In no time, we will be back in our lab, testing out new angles to age-old problems. We will reclaim our spot in the studio to explore the human condition through dance, art, and theater. We will head to class to discuss, debate, and hone our disciplinary expertise. Believe me, it's always gratifying to receive accolades such as those I mentioned moments ago. But they're not what motivates us. Rather, we are charged by our passion to make a difference. And we measure our difference in the prosperity and vitality of the communities we serve in Western New York, across the country, and around the world. That is why I prefer to view our recent accomplishment, as impressive as they are, not a milestone, but instead as stepping stones. Stepping stones, each one guiding us together towards UB's highest future. Thank you.